Good evening, people of YouTube. Once again, it's three middle-aged guys. I am the Reverend.
The theme here.
And Gray Mouse 1.
And we are going to give you another video during our Geek Week in Review, a little bit of video game discussion, namely Street Fighter V. It was brought to my attention just a little bit earlier this week that the numbers for Street Fighter V are rather disappointing. On May 14th, it was known that Street Fighter V, the number of physical copies sold for Street Fighter V was at 670,000 worldwide physical copies. Now, I'm gonna put the caveat out there that this did not include digital copies sold on Steam and also for PS4 on PSN Live or PSN Network. All right.
This is just physical.
This is just physical copies. Actual PS4 discs sold worldwide is at 670,000 copies. In the middle of May, it was passed up by Pokken Tournament, which was released out a full few months later. And Pokken Tournament is currently sitting at 680,000 copies physically sold worldwide, which is really, really odd considering the PS4 has sold over 40 million copies. The Wii U has only sold a little bit over 13 million copies worldwide.
Consoles.
Yes, as far as consoles. So if you're just looking at like the ratio of console users, the installed base and everything else, yeah, the PS4 is completely out of balance. It just blows the shit out of the fucking out of the Wii U. But the Wii U was still able to go ahead and outsell Street Fighter V, the staple fighting game, the staple fighting brand, with a hopeful one-off. I don't know. This is probably gonna be a one-off mashup, of the Pokemon games, using the Tekken engine for. It's not even a dedicated fighting game. It's more like a Naruto fighting game if you've seen how it's played.
Mm-hmm.
I find that very interesting. What are your thoughts, gentlemen?
I don't find it interesting at all, and here's my reasoning. I've said it all along. It's not about systems. It's about games. Here's the thing about Street Fighter. Street Fighter has been on a decline, especially with Street Fighter 4 and their 4 fucking versions of it. When that happened, a lot of people was like, why am I going to get just Street Fighter 5? There's going to be like a Turbo, an Ultra, a Super. They're going to be that much. Even with all the shit that Capcom announces, like, oh, there's not going to be that. And everybody's like, okay, but we're still going to have to, what, characters? We're still going to have to pay for those. No, you can earn them. Oh, really? Okay, we're excited. And then the game comes out, and it has modes missing. And then there's some cockamamie thing that you have to do in order to earn the fucking characters and to earn the fucking points for them. You always have to be online, have to play online. There's no fucking arcade mode. And it's like, look, if you're going to come out with a game like this, don't have the Super Nintendo version of Street Fighter 2 have more fucking modes and more fucking gameplay and more fucking fun than anything that comes out in 2016. It pissed people off. When people heard about that, either they bought it and they took shit back, or they didn't buy it at all, or they have it and they don't play it, like Gray Mouse. There are too many things that were wrong when the game came out. Even with all the shit they announced, people just sat on their thumbs and they're like, nope, not going to play it. I'm not going to buy it because I already know some type of shit's going to be involved in it that's going to make me hate it. That was just said over and over and over again by even Street Fighter fans. So they didn't take their chance on it. And look at the result.
Well, Grey Mouse, I know you have thoughts on this.
Who, me? Nah. I just checked.
No, just sit there and nod your head like you usually do.
You got online bullied.
I just checked 2 days ago and still no arcade mode. The reason why I checked was because there's a downloaded content for Ibuki, a Street Fighter 3 character. And I was actually happy about that. But the problem with this whole thing is that I think the bottom line, if we're going to cut the brass tacks, what happened was Capcom wanted the game out before Evo. And they didn't care what they cut out of the game. They just wanted Evo 2016 to have Street Fighter V, to have the competition for Street Fighter V. Now, since I don't know, have you, Dean, have you were able to play it at all?
No, there's no point.
I was just wondering if somebody brought it over and you were able to play. But it is a fun game.
Brought it over, it wouldn't matter. He doesn't have a PS4 yet.
He would bring a PlayStation 4. Oh. But anyway,
look, I had that offer, but I'm like, there's no fucking point. I don't have all the fucking characters.
Well, the game in itself is fun. The mechanics are fun. The game's fun. It's just, but it's just like you're missing. You're missing modes. And
it's not. Look, you sold half a fucking game, if even that, for $60.
Yeah,
and we're gonna have to wait to get the other fucking half years down the fucking road.
Yeah,
you're missing shit that should automatically be there. That's been on there. That's been on every fucking fighting game that's ever hit a fucking console. There's no excuse for that. As a Street Fighter fan that still plays Third Strike to this day, I will not touch Street Fighter V until it's fucking complete.
So what I'm kind of concerned about is what's this going to mean for future Capcom games, fighting games?
Are there going to be?
Well, actually, it's funny that you brought that up, because the thing is that obviously these sort of numbers haven't gone unnoticed by Capcom.
Of course not.
Yeah, the Capcom CEO in an interview a few around that was made around May 14th, May 16th, and I understand we're catching up with this, but this is still a poignant topic, and this is actually something that we're all pretty interested in. He actually went out of his way at an investor meeting. He went out of his way, and he pretty much apologized for the state of Street Fighter V. The funny thing about that was that a week later, the name of the Capcom CEO, Kenzo Tsujimoto, yeah, he admitted that Street Fighter V needed more polish. Okay, now a few days later, they announced in a public announcement, basically a Q&A session, that Capcom announced a new shift to prioritize completeness of games.
That should be common sense, maybe. I don't know. I mean, you got these companies like Ubisoft. You got these companies like, anyway.
That's like saying that
this has become plague.
That's like saying that if I make a game, it's got to be, players have got to be able to beat it. All right. Or if I make a game and you're using a controller, that you've got to be able to use the right directional pad on it.
Remember the Xbox One debacle in 2013? Oh yeah, anybody can play a game on your console. Just saying.
Okay, so this shit is so monumentally bad, and it cannot be glossed over in any other fucking way, that the CEO of the company admits a fault of their tentpole flagship fucking series, and then pushes out that they have to mandate and announce publicly that they are taking a brave new direction.
They don't know where
right
they're going.
There in front of you. Fucking make a complete game.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, the thing is, this is just a classic example of them going and trying to listen to the minority versus the majority.
You see, this is the thing.
They're more concerned with the competitive side of the thing versus the people that like to play the game on just on a having a couch, playing it. So and that's what's coming. PvP, person versus person, is it's starting to. They're making that first for a game.
It's funny that you say that, because probably the next wave of fighting games in the next generation are not even going to have versus mode couch. You're going to have to play people online and online only versus. It's a damn shame that Street Fighter, next year, Street Fighter will be out 30 years. The first Street Fighter came out in 1987. Remember that. 30 years, and we haven't seen this type of thing with Street Fighter ever since Street Fighter 1.
Well, the thing is, though, I mean, for them to cater towards the competitive side of Street Fighter,
people that weren't alive when Street Fighter 1 came out, catering to those people.
The people that now, don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with being Street Fighter 5. That's what fighting games are about. But they also got to remember that a lot of people like myself just like to sit on the couch and play a versus mode with my friend, or just put it on 8 stars or 10 stars and try to beat the game on the highest difficulty just because I can.
But that's not even all of it. The game is incomplete because the character roster. You're going to announce a character roster, and then, we have all these others down the road that you're going to be able to unlock or buy within a range of years. So basically, instead of coming out with another sequel or whatever.
There's nothing wrong. Okay, there's nothing wrong with adding extra content to expand on the game. I'm not saying that Street Fighter V was only 8 characters or 4 characters and then everything else is DLC. That's garbage. But for a company to concentrate more on the DLC versus the core game, that's just the wrong business. This is my personal opinion, I would think that you want to get your core game right first, then worry about expanding the game in the future and not the other way around. It's like
Remember what happened with Street Fighter? Remember what happened with Street Fighter 4? The first Street Fighter 4 was broken. Then when they came out with Super Street Fighter 4, they tried to tweak it up and it was still broken. Arcade edition was like, okay, this is the last straw, Capcom. No. Then they came out with Ultra, and it's like, you couldn't do all of this the first time around. We've had to pay all this and shell out all this fucking money in order to get the Ultra game that was not even 100% right.
Yeah. Well, the problem with that
is Street Fighter V just a merely couple of years later.
Well, the problem with that is that it kind of makes the company think that it's just cash grabs. You're going to throw out a shitty game and then just, keep throwing, because that's $60 a game. So you're talking about $60, 60 times 4 to get the right game. And
I'm not paying $240 at least. I'm not doing that.
And do you think that that questions are not asked, about the company? You think they're doing that shit on purpose? That comes into question.
Hold on here. Okay. Now, I'm only going to defend Street Fighter 4 up until this particular point. And that particular point is that it actually had fucking endings. It actually had a arcade mode. It actually had a fucking story mode. And that when you went into online, there were actual fucking lobbies. And that you could actually set up customized matches and shit like that. As far as being complete in comparison to Street Fighter V, vanilla Street Fighter 4 was worth twice as much as Street Fighter V. Okay, now I am not going to defend the on disc DLC, which is there. Not just suits, but fucking characters. Okay, I'm not going to defend that shit. All right, I'm not going to defend releasing an updated version for it within less than a year. okay, and asking for another 30 fucking bucks because they did that too. All right. And part of what Capcom said their initiative was, as far as putting together Street Fighter V and having the unlockable characters and having the unlockable extras and everything else, was to make good because of what they did with Street Fighter 4. But you forgot something, Capcom. If you're going to have sex with me, let me nut, okay?
No, that's if they wanted you to be pleasured. That's not what this is. They're not fucking you that way. They're
here's the thing. Here's the thing. All right. What they did was that, and this will segue into the second part of our conversation. All right. What they did was that they saw it suitable to go ahead and put this out for competitive players. All right. And that's the next thing that I want to talk about. The pitfalls and downside of making a game that's geared toward competitive play over something that's geared towards something that everybody can go ahead and enjoy. All right, because the thing is that here's the thing about competitive play. These are the few folks who are willing to go out of their way to spend extra for the better gear, for the better joysticks. They're the ones who are going to sit there and go through the boot camp of learning the ins and outs of all the frame data and tier rankings and everything else, so that they can go off and they can go into like tournaments and other things. And esports has become a viable part of entertainment and marketing, and there's money to be there. The problem with that, though, is that your general consumership, the guys who will push this game into the multiple millions of copies being sold, all right, whether it be physical or digital copies, over 95% of them wouldn't give a fuck about where they're ranked online.
Nope.
You know? Nope. But they went ahead, they were like, well, hey, these guys who sit there and play versus all the time, or play online play, they don't give a fuck about story mode. Even a lot of the majority of the guys who played, who do that, guess what? They had something to fucking say.
Mm-hmm.
Look, here's the thing with Street Fighter V. In its current state, I'm not purchasing it.
No, not me either. And I'm the biggest Street Fighter fan.
Yeah, you are probably the most rabid fucking Street Fighter fan that I know. All right, because you've actually went ahead and come through each and every different fucking iteration to the iteration that's out there. All right, just like a lot of kids in middle school and high school and everything else, I knew about Street Fighter 2, but I fell off of 2D games at the end of the 90s. All right. And I came back to it just a little while ago when, my buddy Qbot was actually went ahead and he got me. Guess what actually got me into it? He showed me, hey, look, with a few fucking components, you can go ahead and build your own joystick. In fact, probably the only reason why I pay attention to Street Fighter in general is because I built my own custom joysticks.
Yes, he does. Yes, he has.
And I need something to use them on. Okay. Otherwise, I might as well be playing fucking Guilty Gear. All right. Look.
There's always Mortal Kombat XL. No?
I would rather... No, the thing is that Mortal Kombat, to tell you the truth, I'd rather play that on a PlayStation controller. Because the controls will just work out better that way. And that and the fact that, during the time I was playing a lot of Mortal Kombat, it was on the Super Nintendo. And that helps. Mortal Kombat 2.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat 2.
Okay.
All right. Just had to throw that out there. But yeah, here's
you're gonna lose credibility if you didn't throw that out there.
Okay, I'm gonna be really honest and say that I really like playing Liu Kang on the first Mortal Kombat. But then again, it was really easy to play. So And if you figured out the buffer thing, you can get instantaneous fucking fireballs and flying kicks. Because you're putting
the Super Nintendo version was broken.
Yeah. But you'd have to sit there and put in your commands like a half second earlier.
Oh.
But
okay, enough about that.
Here's the thing. All right. Generally speaking, for most people who sit there and go out of their way, they're like myself or Gray Mouse, who will go out of their way and pick up a game, and they want to go ahead and take care of it on their own time. They may not want to go out of their way to join online play. All right, because generally speaking, look, I've heard stories from both yourself, Theme, and also other people about how they get hate mail and stupid, the stupid 13-year-old kid who's sitting there on the mic, calling anybody and everybody online that they play against and lose against either gay or a nigger. I just. No, I don't spend my recreational time and money to be subject of that. Because of that, I don't do the multiplayer thing online. Guess what? At the time we made our first Street Fighter V video, I had a coupon from Green Man Gaming for 30% off. So I could have gotten it for as low as $37 when the game was brand fucking new out. I didn't pick it up then. And I still haven't picked it up now. You know why? Because guess what? I still have the wherewithal to consider that it's not a complete fucking game. That I don't.
Done. It still needs to cook.
Yeah.
Come on, man. It doesn't make any sense. Especially this day and age, it doesn't make any fucking sense to come out with shit and you're still cooking the game. It's not done. A1 steak sauce is not going to help it.
And the funny thing is that obviously Capcom didn't have to sit there and go through all of these announcements and fucking apologies. If it would have sold well, you wouldn't have heard a peep from them.
No, you wouldn't have.
Right? But they were expecting this to sell multiple millions of copies.
They expected to sell as many as there are PlayStation 4s out there.
Yep.
That's or people that are building PCs because it's only for PC and PS4. But again, the problem with that is the history with Street Fighter 4, and then this game is not even fucking complete. So that was the knife. That was the nail. People were like, okay, fuck that. I mean, people already were like, okay, there's going to be a super version, there's going to be an ultra version anyway. And then when that was nixed, then they were like, okay, but I'm still not falling for it. What other shit is there going to be in there so that will prevent me from getting it? And that's why I held back too.
Yep. I mean, there's a reason why Call of Duty will always have a campaign mode.
No, better.
No, really, there's a reason why Call of Duty will always have a campaign mode.
And now, wait a minute. Halo eliminated the couch co-op, which doesn't really make any fucking sense.
I mean, even at that point, if it comes down to just selling copies of the game, they know if they have a single player experience on there, people will play. If they jump on a multiplayer and online play, that's completely up to them. I mean, that's how I think it should be. What do you guys think?
I remember when when we tried to play Godzilla, and there was no versus mode on there. There was no home versus mode. God, it was just, that's terrible. When you get a game, okay, look, I don't understand how they figure that everybody is alone and they don't have anybody that will like to come by, or they don't have anybody living with them in order to play the fucking game. I don't see that. And then you don't, this motherfucker, they don't want to play offline by themselves. What? To me, that just doesn't make any fucking sense as a gamer, because I've been playing video games since I was 2 years old, and every game I played, unless it was mandatory for you to have another player like Combat, I played alone. Combat didn't even give you an option. There was no computer playing against you. You had to have somebody else and blow each other the fuck up. Combat for the Atari. But other than that, oh no. If I had to be connected online to play something like Centipede, That's a one-player game anyway. Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, you know.
Oh, wait, Akuma said a true warrior enters the arena with all his power at the ready. Video games should take that fucking advice. Video game companies should take that advice and implement that shit to their games. Have shit ready, have shit with modes in it, and just variety, people, please.
What are your thoughts, Gray Mouse? I know we've been monopolizing time for a little bit.
I'm just so passionate about Street Fighter, this just pisses me off.
Yeah, I know. Come on, Gray Mouse. No, that doesn't work. No. I know I fucked around about that earlier.
And I'm going to say this. If they do this with Darkstalkers, if another Darkstalkers comes out, if they do this with Rival Schools, if another Rival Schools come out, if they do this with another Power Stone and Power Stone, Rival Schools 3 and Power Stone 3, please, if you do that with those games that come out, you will never hear the end of it from me. Never. Fuck that.
You know, the funny thing about like the announcement that they were taking direction toward completeness was in the same one they said that one of the goals for Capcom going forward was to tap into its vast library of back titles.
Oh God. Okay, you want to have one player shit? Make another Ghosts and Goblins in. A 2-player Ghosts and Goblins? Bring back the 1940 series back. Mars Matrix, Diva Wing. Bring them shits back. And don't fucking make them one player. If you're going to dig in your library, you better do this right, and you better have modes for these fucking games that come out.
Here's a funny thing. All right. Like I said, and Gray Mouse mentioned this, I think their focus was to sit there and push something out so people would have time to expose themselves to the game before EVO this year. Mm-hmm. But in hopes to go ahead and actually encourage the people, the few thousand people that they that would go out of their way to actually attend and play tournament on the tournament scene, they really ended up neglecting the millions of casual gamers that would pick up their game otherwise. All right, and here's the truth about that: is that if a gamer doesn't see anything in a title that appeals to them, even if the game is free, they're not going to pick it up.
Right.
Case in point, Tekken Retribution was a free game on PlayStation Network. Steve knows this. I downloaded it. I waited the 10 minutes for the 6 gigabyte download to go ahead and finish up. Theory was sitting there with us. We wanted to go ahead and try it out, versus. And it turned out that there's no couch versus on it. I deleted that fucking thing.
I was right there.
30 seconds. It was gone. It's a free game.
Terry and I were right there when Reverend deleted that off of his PS3. It was hilarious.
And it's a free fucking game, too. It was not going to occupy any hard drive space.
No.
Fucking system. No. It just made no fucking sense.
Oh, God.
I think companies, and this just doesn't go to Capcom, but companies in general have to keep in mind that if they want to keep their doors open, they want to stay profitable. And every company is like that. It doesn't matter if it's video games, tiddlywinks, or fast food. You want to turn a profit. You have to worry about accommodating as many consumers and customers as possible. And when you make a game it doesn't matter if it's focused on the competitive community. If you do that at the expense of ostracizing everybody else who might even look in the direction of your game, then you're going to end up like Capcom, having your CEO out, apologizing for the state of your fucking game, and then announcing to everybody who's completely lost faith in your fucking company that we are taking a brand new direction. Who's right there in front of you? Any
Gray
final,
Mouse, any thoughts?
any final thoughts, gentlemen?
No, I've said my piece.
Well, I just want to say this, that just to cover all bases, some people might think that Street Fighter V's numbers are low because it didn't go on the Xbox One. So I want to nip that in the bud right away, because PlayStation 4 has 40 million consoles that are somewhere in this world. And not
But it wasn't the PS4 exclusive. It was also on the PC.
Yeah, and there are hundreds of millions of Steam subscribers out there.
That if y'all would have let me finish, I was going to mention that. But oh well.
Go man. Go ahead.
I should do this. I mean, you guys pretty much said everything I was going to say anyway. So in conclusion, there's better games out there than Street Fighter V at its current state, and there's better games that are coming out very soon. That namely, King of Fighters 14 will be.
Are you sure?
It has an arcade mode. Yes, it has 50. No, it has
12 and.
It has an arcade mode.
Hey, so King of Fighters 12.
I'm just saying, it has 50 characters.
Fighters 12 was all-time attack. What are you saying?
We're not talking about. I'm talking about King of Fighters 14 right now. Anyway, there's already have.
And Tekken 7. Well, Tekken Retribution didn't have a versus.
Jesus Christ.
For Capcom,
they need to fix and keep going with the variety, or else, because this is just unacceptable.
For Capcom to send out a PR message saying this is our new direction, but it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I mean, I understand. I don't think that's going to help their case, especially still that there's no arcade mode after 3 months of it being out on the street, or longer, actually. I think 5 months now.
Look, Capcom, you don't want to get a Hillary Clinton reputation. Please do not sink that low where you can't fucking be trusted at all in gaming. Don't, especially with your number one franchise ever, Street Fighter. I think it's their number one. I mean, there's Resident Evil, there's Mega Man, and Mega Man really doesn't exist anymore, and Resident Evil is, oh, come on.
Anything else, Grey Mouse? Yeah. I think you folks should go ahead and figure out exactly where our thoughts are. It's sad. And we wouldn't be upset if there was a lot of this stuff would be more forgivable if we were actually given good, complete games. And that's how it is. With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. It's going to be a short week because real life happens. Like I say at the end of every video, if you're so kind, hit like, hit subscribe, check out our channels. Grey Mouse has a channel. Theme has a channel. I have a channel. We put up stuff every week. Tune in, check us out, get our own little special sauce and our special flavors of social commentary. We're always glad to do that. And if we missed anything, we encourage you to leave comments, please. Do so. With that, we are the three middle-aged guys. The bullshit on this topic ends here. I am the Reverend.
The theme here.
And Grey Mouse 1.
Once again, for the benefits of common sense, logic, and complete fucking games, if you actually come out with complete fucking games, just do that shit. Just unforgivable. Damn it. Credits.
I'd like to take time out to announce that three middle-aged guys are going to go on a new direction. We're going to emphasize sensitivity, tolerance, and inclusiveness in our videos. Our safe space can be found right here.
I